Hello everybody, my name is Sophie and welcome back to, you say it, bookmas! We have gathered here today, as previously announced, in my, what did I do? Talking about old popular books. The Christmas ghost of the past. We're here for the Christmas ghost of the future and we're going to talk about 2024 releases. Now, this is a curated list that is about books that might be interesting for me and also for me to review. Like, they're in the potential 2024 release review pile. If you are the author of these books, send me an ARC. I've never gotten one. I'm just kidding. It's a little bit difficult with Germany and sponsorships and ARCs and stuff like that, so I don't think I'll ever get any, if I'm being honest. But that being said, this video is not really a good source if you're just wanting to hear about all the new releases. There's been a lot of people who have been making videos about 2024 releases. I think this is like a very common video that comes out in December when booktubers talk about new releases that come out. It's just so everyone knows. It's a good source. And so the list is very long, also a lot of new debuts and everything, but this list is a little smaller, and again, this is like books that I could potentially review, that I would be interested in reviewing, and they're mostly by, or I think all by authors who have already published books, so this is not a debut list or anything, but there are great videos on YouTube that you can watch. I haven't watched any, but I'm just gonna say that. So I'm gonna tell you guys about the books that are releasing, a little bit what they're about, and then you guys can tell me in the comments which book you really want me to review out of this lot, and then also which one you think I'm gonna give 5 stars to. Obviously none. People always do like, my 5-star predictions for the new releases, and it's like, mine are the 2 stars predictions, because that's good for me. I didn't pick out any dates, I think, for these books. Maybe some screenshots include dates, but the first book that's coming out next year that is interesting for me and that I will definitely be reading is, of course, the new Sarah J Maas book. I don't know what it's called. It's a Crescent City book. It's something with flames, probably something maybe with shadows, maybe shadow and flame. That actually could be it, guys. Now that I'm thinking about it, I was making a joke, but I think that might be it. Let me look it up. That would be really funny if I was right. But then again, maybe it was just subconsciously in my mind that I knew. Like, I didn't just come up with this out of the blue. It's literally called House of Flame and Shadow. Okay, I think I subconsciously knew that. I don't want to take the credit for that. But that being said, this book is of course highly anticipated, I think, by all people who have read Sarah J Maas books, and I hope that everybody has read all of their books for when this one is coming out. And I have reviewed all of the Crescent City books on my channel. Crescent City 1 is the reason I started my channel, as I discussed in the Christmas Ghost of the Past video. And so I'm excited for it to be released. I had a question in my Q&A where I was like, are you excited for any releases? And I thought about it a little more after that video, and I think I'm genuinely excited for that to come out, just because a new Sarah J Maas book always means new content. And also because it's a different type of book from her previous series, and everything is finally kind of coming together. And so without giving you like a spoiler or anything, I think it's gonna be really fun to read that. And I know that a lot of people are doing rereads of all of her books now in preparation for Crescent City 3, and I'm not doing that. I have exams. That being said, I will of course review this for you guys. I don't know what, actually, but let's look that up too. I want to say I don't know what page count is set for this or estimated for this, because I don't know if, like, okay, 800? I don't think so. I would have guessed that this book would also be like 1,000 pages. I think Kingdom of Ash was like 1,000 pages, or maybe I'm lying. Anyway, this is going to be a review of mine that you'll definitely see, and it's coming out on the 30th of January, so that is one day after my last exam for the semester, which is almost like she planned it for me. So I will fully commit to reading that and get that review out for you guys as fast as possible, and kind of like I did with Iron Flame, where I read that book in 48 hours, but that was a little shorter. That was like 200 pages shorter, so maybe 72 hours? Give me some time. Also, I saw some people talk about the fact that they don't know when the new Divine Rivals book is coming out, and so the only reason I want to talk about it is because someone said that, and it's called Ruthless Vows, right, by Rebecca Ross, the sequel to Divine Rivals. Some people say, and I thought it was going to come out on the 27th of December, and then I saw someone else talk about it and they said, no, 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 the 3rd of January is the, not like the estimated release date. And you know what else is on the 3rd of January? You know what else is? My birthday. That's the only reason I wanted to mention it. I just wanted to remind you when my birthday is. Because I don't think I'll be reading that. If you guys want me to, like really want me to, I will read it, but I don't think that many people care. Like, people care about it, but I don't think that many people who watch my channel really care about it, and I didn't like the book, and so I don't really have an interest in continuing the series, but maybe just to see if she's made any progression from the first book and like optimize the things that I critiqued. Then in February, guys, and this book has me shook. Do people still say shook? I don't think so. It's called The Bride, and guess who the author is? You're not gonna guess. Fucking Ellie Hazelwood. Ellie Hazelwood and I, we have beef. I've just decided that recently after reading Check and Mate, I feel like you have heard me say Check and Mate so much in these past book videos, but guys, you made me do this. Also, in case anyone's curious, I did start reading another book and I didn't do a members vote. I'm so sorry to my members, but I just decided, and it's The Prison Healer by Lynette Noni. It was the second most voted for in the poll that I did, where Check and Mate won, and I think at this point it's even a draw, so I just decided, because the other half of people wanted me to read that, I'm going to read that. Just so I have something like in the back going on reading while I do everything else, because I always feel weird when I don't have anything that I'm currently reading. You know what I mean? Because like you're a booktuber, like you gotta be reading. Anyway, Ellie Hazelwood is publishing a book called Bride, and before I knew what this was about, I only saw the cover, right? And I gasped. I said, in my head, I didn't say it out loud, this better not be a fucking werewolf vampire romance book. And guess what it fucking is? It's a fucking vampire romance book with a fucking werewolf and they have to do like a forced marriage or something. This is the only other Ellie Hazelwood book that you guys could maybe convince me to read. This is her first time doing fantasy. I think this is just going to be like all of her other books, but in fantasy form. Like there's gonna be someone who's sexist, maybe classist, maybe racist? Because they're two different races. A dangerous alliance between a vampire bride and an alpha werewolf. Become a love deep enough to sink your teeth into in this new paranormal romance from, so it's not fantasy, sorry. And the main character's name is Misery Lark. Ellie Hazelwood is truly just a person that, why did I say that? She's truly just an author that writes fan fiction and publishes it as books. Like she's truly peaked, you know what I mean? Like this is everyone's dream, because what the fuck do you mean this is a proper published book? Anyway, that being said, slay girl. You know, you keep doing you, queen. This is not the only book Ellie Hazelwood has coming next year, which I think is even more crazy. She actually has another book coming out the same year. So this one is coming out in February and the next one is supposed to come out in the summer. It's called Not in Love and it's, guess. Fucking guess. It's another STEM romance. Stop! I wouldn't be that bothered if there was at least some nuance between her different stories, but they all read the same. It's always the same kind of, it's the same formula. I've talked about this before, and she just puts different names and maybe a different Schwerpunkt. She puts a different focus onto the story, or like she makes the people be in a different area of STEM. So she can write the same story again and again, and it's always the same thing, and it's so stupid, I think. You've read one Ellie Hazelwood book, you've read all of them. Sorry. Also coming out next year in April is Funny Story by Emily Henry. All of her covers also look the same. I genuinely cannot tell the difference between the book. Which, of course, we love continuity. What do we love? Love continuity. But as far as I'm concerned, the books don't play in like the same world or the people in the stories are not related to people in different stories. So maybe they are. Then okay. But then again, you could argue, well, it's just her style, so you can recognize the Emily Henry book. But like, don't you want to switch it up? Like, doesn't it get boring? And you know what the fucking covers remind me of? They remind me of those people from PowerPoint presentations. Is it PowerPoint? You know when your company has to make a presentation? I don't know if people can relate to this. And they always use the same kind of style with these people. That's what her covers look like to me. I've yet to read an Ellie Hazelwood book. No, why? She's in my head. Hell! I've yet to read an Emily Henry book, but I do have Book Lovers in the back. You can't see it. I'm thinking I'll read that next year. It's on the list. Like so many other books. But I know a lot of people are excited for this because people love Emily Henry. And I want to know what that's about. Because I hate contemporary romance. Stay away from me. The sequel to Powerless is also coming out. Powerless by Lauren Roberts. And it's called Reckless? For some reason I thought that book was already out, if I'm being honest. Maybe this is going to be a trilogy. Maybe it's going to be a duology. I actually don't know. I know so many people are excited about it. Every time I hear people talk about it, they literally say, this is the best book I've ever read. I don't even know what's about. You guys let me know if that book is good, because I still need to decide on my first read of the new year. It always has to be a banger. It's never been, but you know, I'll try. So if it really is that good and people genuinely like it and think I would like it, you guys don't even know what I like, because I don't even know what I like, then maybe that should be my first read of the new year. Powerless. Maybe. You know what else is coming out in March? The Prisoner's Throne, which is the sequel to The Stolen Heir. The cover is genuinely so fucking ugly. She's trying to do this theme so it fits with the Cool Prince cover. I don't understand why they put this big ass, ugly fuck ass ring on the cover. I think the idea, I don't even know what that was the idea. You could have executed that more prettily, if you truly want to include a frozen over ring on the cover. I love being nitpicky. Let's get mad about the fucking ring on the cover. I didn't like The Stolen Heir. I read it this year. It's going to be my ranking video at the end of the year. And I don't remember what happened in that book. I don't remember what happened in that book. I don't even know what the consensus was. I actually thought that people didn't really like it, but then people told me no, people did like it, and so now I'm just confused. Like, what did I hear? Did I confuse it with something else? And I also don't know if that's gonna be a duology or a trilogy, but I think Holly Black... I don't think, actually. Something I was really surprised by is that next year the sequel to Iron Widow is supposed to come out, which is called Heavenly Tyrant. I don't know when. I think in spring. It confused me because I was like, I read that book such a long time ago. The first I reviewed Iron Widow. That video on my channel still gets so many views. And people do not agree with me on that review. People get really mad at me in the comments of that review because they do not understand that I did not like it. And I have not gone back to watch that video since because I keep seeing that I get negative comments and then it just makes me sad. And that's why I would never publish a book, because if someone like me made a video about my book then, I would just cry. But it always surprises me when I make reviews and people say in the comments, why didn't you like it? And it's not like they commented under a 40-minute review where I talk about what I didn't like for 40 minutes. It's like, why didn't you like it? But that being said, Iron Widow came out in 2021, and so it surprised me that it took that long. Like, I thought it was already out. I thought the sequel was already out. That it's supposed to come out next year, and I know that the author is a YouTuber, and so I thought that they maybe like self-published it, but it's published by Penguin Teen, so it's a genuine publisher, and I think it's a little bit rarer that books take so long to come out nowadays, so it surprised me. But maybe that means that they put more thought into it, because I also thought that the writing in the first book just wasn't good. Like, it didn't flow. I thought it was such a cool concept, especially because it was compared to Yu-Gi-Oh! And I love Yu-Gi-Oh! But anyway, I'm not gonna read the sequel because I can't take the hate anymore. Just kidding, guys. I'm the OG hater. I have to have a thick skin. The last book that I'm gonna talk about, and this is all releases in like up until the summer. I don't even know what is releasing at the end of the year, or maybe those books that release at the end of the year haven't been announced yet. It's Daydream by Hannah Grace. The only reason I'm mentioning this is because I recently read Icebreaker and I also have a review on that. I didn't like it. Ah, shocker. But that book was genuinely bad. And then recently Wildfire released, I think also on the 7th of November when Iron Flame released, so nobody cared about any other books that came out. And I think that it's interesting that the book was literally announced like the next day. And I saw it and I thought it was fan art. You know what I mean? Because all the covers look the same, because they're all about the same people, or not the same people, but people from the same hockey team, that's what I mean. So I thought that maybe someone made fan art about the third book, and I was like, oh no, never mind, it's truly announced. And then there was a whole backlash because the main character, the dude on the cover, is darker skin, and then people were like, since when is he black? It's the same with like the Iron Flame main dude. The author has said that he's darker skinned and all of the fan art you see of him is white. People just cannot accept the fact that there's a dark-skinned male love interest, main male love interest for once, because you rarely see that shit in the popular book. And I don't know what that is. It's the same with like the beard, that main male characters never have beards. And I had someone comment, I think it was one of my members, I don't really remember, that it's because in YA, obviously the men don't have facial hair, because they're like 17 or 18, but I don't agree with that, especially because a lot of the books that I've recently been reading have been new adult and they never mention beards. Like, it's literally 20 years old, chill. It's early 20s men that don't have beards and there's no stubble mentioned, and they just have a clean shaven face. Like, it's really odd, because if it's like a 16-year-old, of course I'm not gonna be like, why doesn't he have a beard? He could have, but he doesn't. But it's like a 25-year-old man, and it's like his jaw is so sharp. It's like, okay, and where's his beard? But that's like a whole other topic that I don't really know what that means, you know what I mean? But anyway. So what I also think is gonna come out next year, but we don't have any proof for this, is the third book in the Iron Wing Flame fourth wing series. It's called the Empyrean series, I know, but fuck that shit. It's coming out next year for sure. She's still working on it as far as I'm concerned. She's made some confusing statements about the state of the book. She said it's all drafted. Then she said it's taking a toll on her health publishing 2 books so close to one another. She's gotta take more time. Then she said she's publishing books 6 months apart. And Peace and Love, like, I understand that it takes a toll on your health, especially if you already struggle with your health, publishing books so close together, but like, then why did you do it? Why did you sign a contract? But I've talked about that before. I've done a Rebecca Yarros interview. I manifested the Rebecca Yarros interview, bitch. I would be a terrible interviewer. That is something that I respect people who can genuinely like interview people, because I would not be able to do that. I would just be sitting there like, so that being said, we don't know when the 3rd book is coming out, if it's finished, if she's writing it, when it's coming out, but I'm like 80% sure that it's gonna come out next year, because they are not going to let her wait a year to release a new book, especially since it's still being so hyped up. I think it's gonna maybe come out in the summer even. If not, it's gonna come out also at the end of the next year, like normal releases that take a year apart. And then also what's really interesting is that Nightbane, no, you're not gonna know what that is. The Lightlark 3rd book, because it's going to be a trilogy with the way the last book ended, the 2nd book. That also hasn't been announced, and she's not made any statements about how long that series is gonna be. I always think it's nice when authors don't say how many books they plan on having in a series, whether it's gonna be a duology or a trilogy or a quartet. I think that's reasonable. Everything over 4 books becomes questionable. For most series, at least. I don't think a lot of authors have the skill to write that many books. I'm looking at you, Rebecca. 5 books. So no one knows how long the Lightlark series, for example, is going to be. It could be a trilogy, it could be a quartet. And I think it's nice when authors don't announce it, because it just makes it more interesting for a reader, because they don't know at the end of the book who's gonna die, who's gonna live. Because they're like, okay, we have 5 books in the fucking Iron Flame 4th Wing series. Of course the main character is not gonna fucking perish in the 2nd. Obviously. That being said, those are all the books that I can think of. We're getting a Sarah J Maas book. I don't think we're gonna get another I don't think we're gonna get another— what the fuck? I don't think we're gonna get another Sarah J Maas book after the release in January for like 2 years, guys. Genuinely. I can't take it. No, just kidding. I don't even know when Crescent City came out. Did it come out last year? Did it take 2 years to write this book? I don't know. That woman has an ass full of money, you know what I mean? And I'm really jealous. I wish I had that much money. Let me know if there's any books I didn't mention that you're excited for. I think most other books maybe might be debuts, or books in other genres that I don't read as actively, and maybe series that I just don't read, like the romance genre. I'm just not that into. Period. That was my video about the Christmas ghost of the future. We just have to run with this now, sorry. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know which book I should review. I mean, I'm probably going to review all of them, if we're being honest. Let me know which books you are excited for in the next year. I hope you stay happy, you stay healthy. Peace and love. And hopefully, I'll see you tomorrow.